And we should now be live. Hello everyone, welcome back today for another GT Sports race here at Gavra Racing for round number 7. I didn't quite know where I was going with that intro, but we're here for round 7. There's only 3 races to go, and it's a sprint race here at Autopolis in Japan, and we're in these Red Bull Junior cars, not the standard, but the little baby junior cars. If you're unfamiliar with last season, it's the same format, but I'm going to talk a bit whilst we get this race underway. 20-minute sprint race, which is a reverse championship grid to set the grid for this race, which is effectively a qualifying session for the main race, which is, I believe, 23 laps long. I haven't actually double-checked I've done the grid correctly, so let's hope Ted is on pole, followed by Aston, I think, in second. We'll have to wait and see. Here is the grid for tonight's race. It is Ted on pole, Webson's in second, Wolf in third, Aston in fourth, Manuel in fifth, Bonnie in sixth, Tobbs in seventh, Pierre in eighth, Tuesday in ninth, Finn in 10th, Tiger in 11th, Tim in 12th, and Dutchy in 13th, because he's the championship leader. We've got 18 corners here at this 2.9 mile long circuit here for Autopolis, located in Japan. The red lights are on, the engines are roaring, and it's lights out, and away we go. It's a good start from Ted, and Webson's off the line. Manuel gaining a few positions in the midfield. He's up into 4th place, jumping Wolfie, who's now down into 6th place. Into turn 1, Ted leads the field, followed by Aston. Manuel going wheel to wheel with Webson's Bonnie trying to go round the outside. He's got Topser on the inside. Tim making up a few positions, now in 11th place, ahead of Tiger Assassin, as Ted goes a little bit defensive to the inside. There's carnage at the back. I think that's Wolfie dropping into 13th place. Not too sure what's happened to him, as Bonnie were making their way through the second sector, gaining a few positions off the start, up into 4th place, demoting Manuel into 5th, who looks to try and send one on the inside, pulls alongside the Brit, gives him just enough room on the outside. Tim going onto the curb and using a little bit more to try and get past his rivals in this race. Manuel trying to go around the outside of Bonnie Evil, who keeps the front bumper in. Manuel's drifting, almost careers into the back of, into the side of Pierre, and now drops down into 9th place after getting tangled up with, I think, Pierre or Tiger, as Thompson goes down the inside of Bonnie Evil. Can Pierre follow him through? Not quite. Dutchy in 9th place, trying to set up for a move on Tim, who's showing some great pace in practice. Wolfie rounds out the back of the grid, about a second or two behind Manuel. Ted 5/10 ahead of Aston, leading the field away. Aston going a bit deep and putting a slide on through the tricky Technical S's section that is set to 3. Topped up into 4th place ahead of Bonnie Evil. It's been a good start from him in this race, but no points, as this is effectively qualifying. We're using the same sprint format rules as last season with the reverse championship grid. Dutchy's gone off. Dutchy's wide off in the penultimate corner. He rejoins in 10th place, but could be under pressure from Finn behind in 11th, with the German getting such better momentum and the run through the penultimate corner. He could be right on the back of the Dutchman going in towards turn 1. Dutchy now dropping about a second and a half behind the rest of the field. Can Finn go for anything in towards turn 1 as the cars single file making their way in towards the first corner? Not quite. Topster losing out to Webson's, I think, or trying to go for a move on Webson's. Tiger and Piero going wheel to wheel. Tiger coming out ahead in that battle. The Brit gets himself ahead of the Frenchman into 6th place, puts himself in a good position for the race. Someone's just come out of the pits. That's Manuel, so it looks like he's sustained damage. Topster sending one down the inside of Webson's, and he's now in a podium position, but no points as previously stated. Dutchy trying to close down that gap to Toussaint. Was 1.4, now 1.2 after his mistake at turn 16. And Aston, I believe, is the only one on the soft compound tyre, the quicker of the two. We've got mediums and softs available. So he's doing something different, trying to get himself as high up the grid for the main race. He's currently running in 2nd place. Can we see maybe Ted get pole position? We might have to change the rules just for this race. Ted currently running last in the championship. However, his pace definitely doesn't say he should be down there, let's put it that way. He is consistent with his driving this season, as Toussaint's trying to send one on the inside of Tim through the final set of corners. The Finn on the inside is able to stay ahead up into 8th place. It's a really tricky track to overtake at. However, these cars have previously shown some amazing racing. We had Fuji in the past, and I think Sardinia A, where we've taken these cars. I can't quite remember the last one, where we had a mini Red Bull off-season championship. If someone can remind me. Lago Maggiore, I think it was. Can't quite remember. There might have been contact between Bonnie and Websons. It could have just been the camera angle, plus I wasn't really looking at the screen, more the stream. Here goes Bonnie. So he's going to try and send one on the inside and towards turn 3. Not quite, but has setting himself up for a move in towards a corner, running a Japanese-themed livery for this track in Japan, designed by your Season 1 champion, whose teammate is going down the inside of him. The battle for 5th place between Bonnie and Tiger. Can Tiger try and make something work round the outside into this long swooping left-hander? Yes, he can. And in these cars, it is a beautiful flat-out left-hander. Another class of cars. It's not so easily done flat. Dutchy on the grass there. Maybe just overshot it, trying to go down the inside of Tim. Picks up a penalty. He's late on the brakes. Can he slow it down in time? Indeed he does. Gets himself up into 8th place. And ahead of the 2 cars who he once was behind by quite some distance after that earlier mistake a lap or 2 ago. Ted still leads this race, with Webson's coming under pressure from Tiger Assassin, Bonneville under pressure from Piero, and Toussaint going wheel to wheel with Tim. Can he try a switchback move, maybe not go around the outside but down the inside in towards turn 13? Can he make the stick into 14, 15 and 16? Yes, he can actually. So he does get the move up into 9th place. A beautifully worked move from the Brit. Sees himself up into 9th place, and now his job is to try and close down that gap to play Dutchy before he can overtake and gain the time on his teammate. Tiger close behind Websons. You think he could be going for a move here into turn 1. The red and white car versus the black and red car. Which one's going to come out on top? They're wheel to wheel in towards turn 1. Tiger gets the move done and sees himself start this race in 4th position. As for now, there's still 14 and a half minutes left to go here in effectively sprint qualifying. Toussaint running a very nice Daniel Ricciardo themed helmet. We can get it up on the screen there it is, the number 3. In these cars you can see each other's helmets quite easily actually. Ted under a lot of pressure from Aston, who is on the soft compound tyre, so will be quicker in the early stages of this race, and he will start on those soft tyres in the main race if he finishes this race on those tyres in a Mercedes themed Red Bull. Interesting way of looking at it, as I think that was Dutchy coming under pressure from Toussaint, who's poking the nose in on the inside of the hairpin in the battle for 8th place. He's done well to close down that gap. Maybe Dutchy's struggling a little bit in these cars. Could be the car and track combination, which is what's made this season so both interesting, but the standings say otherwise. Webson's dropping to 7th place as Piero finds his way through. Aston and under pressure from Tobster, who is on the medium tyres, I believe everyone's on the mediums apart from Aston on the soft. We're going to try and keep an eye out on all the battles on the track, this one being in the battle for 8th place, which could soon be the battle for 7th place, with Dutchy closing quite significantly on Websons. He's pulled up alongside the Brit, who goes very far over to the left. Toussaint tucks into Dutchy's slipstream in the run down towards turn 1. It's a very awkward blind apex. If we ride on board, you can see you can't even see the corner. Websons moves late to the inside. There was contact between those two. I'm not sure. Don't think there was any damage. Bonneville's round in the wall, facing backwards. We can get a replay to see what happened to him. I think he ran wide on the apex of turn 1. From the apex, sorry, onto the grass, and then a really awkward spin, kind of counter steered off, and then back over onto the track. Meanwhile, out in front, Ted and Aston separated by 4-5 tenths, tops of 5-6 tenths. Behind them, Tiger working his way up into 4th place from 11th on the grid. And as Websons has conceded the position to Dutch and Toussaint, as we saw in towards turn 1, they now start their hunt. 2.5 second gap to Piero. As you can see, all the cars filtering their way through the hairpin. Turn 8, I think. Haven't actually counted that. That was just a pure guess. But it might be turn 8. I'll try and work it out later. Ted doing really well to keep this lead after 5.5 laps. We saw what happened to his lead in Sardinia B, which came to an unfortunate end a few laps into the race after a collision between Bonnie and Tim. Ended up in his race, or his car, in the barrier. Duchy up into 6th place from the back of the grid and his mistake, but has lost time to Piero, now 3.1 seconds. He's under a lot of pressure from Toussaint and Webson's behind, who's doing well to keep up with the 2 cars in front of him. But there is a really rapid Tim close behind. Aston with a good run through turn 1. Ted with a bit of a slide on the exit of the corner. Is he going to work with Ted or against? It looks like he's pulled over to the outside. Are they going 3 wide in towards turn 2? Topster on the inside of Aston, who goes late on the brakes. Topster kind of blocked by Ted's car, but not in a bad way. Ted just on the inside. Topster trying to go down the inside, which becomes the outside for the hairpin. Tiger trying to get involved in this battle as well. Swoops around the outside of the purple and black Red Bull. Ted losing 3 positions in 3 corners. Aston now leads this race with Topster behind him in second. The Tiger on a podium position. It's currently an Aston Topster front row for qualifying. If this was to happen, it would be a new front row. Aston's first pole position. However, he has gone deep into the hairpin, and Topster's going to say thank you very much and walk through the open door. They go wheel to wheel down the hill into the fast right-hander, which is nearly flat. A little lift with a dab on the brakes. Aston has to concede the position and has got Tiger Assassin all over the back of his rear wing, as Topster leads the field with his teammate down in 9th place. Manuel has the fastest lap of the race after their little incident with a mistake, as him, Finn and Bonnie, Wolfie as well in 10th to 13th place, as the drivers make their way through the final corner for the 6th time tonight to start lap number 7. And it's car number 37 who leads them across the line. A second clear of a very weaving Aston, who can't quite find the right line in towards turn 1. Has got Tiger Assassin on his inside. They make a little bit of contact. Can Aston try the switchback move on the exit of turn 1? Dutchy and Toussaint going side by side. Has Dutchy outbroke himself? I think he broke a little bit too late with Toussaint with a nice slingshot on the apex of the corner in towards turn 2. And Toussaint gets himself ahead of the championship leader up into 6th place. Is there going to be commentary for round 3 and 4 of the weekend league? To be honest, I am not too sure. There should be. Someone, I don't know who commentates the weekend league, but there should be commentary for that. Aston's going to try and fight his way up the grid to try and start higher than 3rd place. A reminder, this is a sprint qualifying format, a 20-minute race, and the grid for this race was a reverse championship grid, which is why some of the championship leaders and contenders for the title are towards the back of the grid. A reminder though, Play Dutchy can win the championship here tonight if he scores 2 points more than Tim, I think. I think those are the championship. I think that's what he needs to do to win it 2 races early. But I'll have to double check that. I'll check it in the break after the 7.5 minutes we've got left of this sprint qualifying. Topster though leads the field away, 1.6 seconds clear of Tiger Assassin. Let's quickly check the tyres. As you can see in the bottom left, RM standing for the racing mediums and the RS the racing softs, the quicker of the 2 tyre compounds available for this race weekend. It's only the mediums and the softs. 2 drivers on the mediums, Ted and Toussaint going wheel to wheel. Has Ted outbroke himself in towards turn 1? He's on the curb, on the grass. Piero and that's Aston and Piero trading positions. Aston now gets his way up down into 4th place. Piero now onto a podium. The 2nd row of the grid will start directly behind Topster and Tiger if it was to finish as it is now. Toussaint can't quite make his way past Ted, and he seems to be gapping Play Dutchy a little bit. Webster's only 1.2 seconds behind Dutchy, and in these cars, the Red Bull Juniors, we've seen how close the grid has been before when we've done an off-season event with these cars, and they're providing racing at a track that doesn't provide racing. Autopolis is not a fan favourite to many of the drivers, mainly because of its awkward off-camber corners and lack of overtaking opportunities. But these cars, they can follow quite well, to be honest. As you can see here, we've got 5th to 8th pretty much. 4th if you include Aston, all within the same camera shot of one another. Ted, defending from Toussaint for his life. He's in an outstanding 5th place. Adidas in the chat saying it looks fun. Trust me, these cars are a lot more fun to drive around this track specifically than Group 3, for example. It makes a lot of the awkward corners less awkward. A good example is turn 6 or 7, I think it is, the long left-hander in the middle sector. I'll give you an example when we approach it. Toussaint being stuck behind Ted has allowed Dutchy to close the gap, now 4/10 of a second. As they filter their way down the start finish straight in towards turn 1. Here goes Toussaint late on the brakes. Your season 1 champion getting the move done up into 5th place and puts a car in between himself and the championship leader. That's not going to stand for much longer though, as Dutchy makes his way down the inside of Ted, who is going to try and fight this one back to the outside at turn 3, but couldn't quite find the grip to make it stick. Play Dutchy's actually got front bumper damage, as you can see in the bottom left. The front bumper flashing red, indicating the front bumper damage. He's going to lose a lot of time down the straights. This corner, this left-hander is completely flat on a set of soft tyres, I think it is, which makes it a lot less awkward than Group 3. The final corner is weird in almost any car. Yeah, I can agree with that. But we haven't been at this track since Season 2. It's Season 5. We have to bring it back one last time before we venture in onto GT7, where hopefully we can get lots of different and new tracks that we haven't been to often. This is only our 5th season because we kind of started the GT Sport League, well, we started it in 2020, I think. So 3 years after the game had come out, so we haven't really had the opportunity to go to every track. So that's a plan that I have for GT7. Kyoto, we haven't been to Kyoto a lot of times. I think we've been to there. I've been to Kyoto 3 times. What other tracks am I forgetting? We haven't been to tracks like Goodwood, Blooming Speedways. We've only been to one of the infield days. Other tracks, there are quite a few tracks we haven't even been to. Some good tracks still, but not the time to put them on a calendar. Wolfie under pressure from Finn in the battle for 11th place. Yellow flags up in front. I think that is for Bonnie, who has gone off again in 13th place, as the leaders will start to approach them. Tiger 1.8 seconds behind Tobster. Toussaint closing in on the back of Aston, who is on a set of the soft compound tyre. You can see his throttle inputs taking this left-hander completely flat out in these cars. They are quite fun to drive. Something different. Previous seasons we've done Group 3, Group 2, Group 4, but now we've got 9 different cars for 9 different races at 13 different... 12 different tracks. Not 13, because we went to Lago Maggiore East and West for round 2, and Sardinia A, B and C for round 4. So we've had a few extra tracks this season in only 9 rounds, which is, I think, a good way to end. Someone has gone off, and it is Wolfie, with a lot of damage to the back of his car as well as the front. And in this shot, he's already spinning. There's a marshal waving a green flag as he's off into the gravel. Not sure, and he's got his colours right there. But the leaders start their 11th lap with 2.5 minutes left to go. There will be 2 laps in qualifying, and Topster could be putting himself on pole position. Tim has actually got front left and front suspension damage. I have no idea where he's got that from, but a lot of drivers at the back of the grid making mistakes. Webb Manuel into the pits from the soft. Now, we're continuing with the same rules as last season, and specifically it's whatever tyre you finish the sprint race on, it's the tyre you start the feature race. So if they're pitting for softs, I mean, what tyre did Manuel go on to? He's gone back onto the medium, so maybe he was trying to go for fastest lap. Finn's on the medium, sorry. Manuel back on mediums. So it is whatever tyre you finish the race on. Because obviously you could start on the softs as Aston is, and if it's not working, if he's in last place, then he could pit for the mediums at the end of the race, and he will start on softs. Closest battle on track is the battle for 4th place. This is only qualifying though, so we do have more to come in the race. Toussaint following closely to the back of that Mercedes Red Bull, a combination that sounds really weird to say, but Aston on those soft tyres just has more grip through the corners, so it's probably going to be turn 1 is Toussaint's best overtaking opportunity as they make their way through turn 16 into 17, and then the little kink of the final corner is turn 18 as they make their way down the 0.56 mile long start finish straight. Aston will be doing his best to defend this 4th place, although that gap is coming down at a rapid rate of knots. He weaves to break the toe, not the best camera angle to show the weaving. Here we go, Aston on the outside, Toussaint on the inside. Can he make the stick there? Will to will on the inside of turn 1, almost forcing Aston wide onto the grass. Aston can seize the position for now, but he's going to fight this one back. Is he going to send one on the inside? He thought about it, but can't quite find a way through, as everyone is starting their final laps apart from the 2 cars in 12th and 13th place. This will be their final lap of the race, with only 3, 2, 1 seconds left to go. There it is, the checker flag is being waved, and Topster is set to start this race on provisional pole position. Tim in 9th place will be trying to make a last lap lunge on Webson to start himself in 8th for the 23 lap race. I just actually want to double check it is 23 laps, because knowing me, I've forgotten it and got it all wrong. Tim not quite close enough. That front bumper damage really impacting him in a straight line to try and close down the gap to Webson's, although he is going to give it his all. But for the first time, I think, this season, it's a red, white and blue Red Bull who is going to round the final few corners from, I think, 6th on the grid or 7th on the grid. He's worked his way through the field, and it's going to be Topster to start this race on pole position with Tiger Assassin alongside him on the front row. Piero will start in 3rd ahead of Toussaint in 4th. Aston holding his nerve against Dutchy in 6th. Ted will start this race in 7th after being on provisional pole for the sprint. Webson's just beaten Tim in 9th, as Manuel's going to start this race in 10th place. Finn in 11th, Wolfie in 12th, and Bonnie will round up the grid in 19th place. 19th place? Not 19th place, 13th place. Where did I get 19 from? As Finn, the last driver to cross the line. So there is your qualifying grid for the race. It's a new helmet in the victory screen. It's a new name as well. Thompson went up 6 positions. There was 7th place as where he started on. Just in case there are any collisions, we save the race replay. Time to change the settings. So we have practice and race, and it is 23 laps. Grid order set by the fastest first. That should be everything we need. So, just got to wait for all the drivers to ready up, and then we should be able to get this one underway. Let me know in the chat. Let's get some activity. What tracks are you looking forward to on GT7, and what tracks do you think they add? Well, what tracks would you like to see their polyphony add into GT7? Try to make it realistic, not something like, I don't know, I say realistic, things like Silverstone, which haven't really been in any GT game. I wouldn't call that. What returning tracks would you like to see added? There we go. What tracks are you looking forward to? What tracks would you like to see added to the game? What returning tracks? Do you think Apricot Hill will be added to the game later on as the game goes on? It was kind of teased in the video they leaked when it said hashtag find your line, and the track, the arrows, not the arrows, the lines they were showing definitely looked like Apricot Hill. So that's a track that I think they could add. Other tracks, I don't really know what other tracks they could add. Obviously they're going to add tracks. They're not going to release a game, that's got all the tracks in at the start and then not do anything. We saw it happen with GT Sport. They added tracks, they added cars throughout the game cycle. They added obviously wet weather, but we don't need to worry about that for GT7 because they've got dynamic weather, which I'm really looking forward to. What else? I'm really struggling to think of tracks. Everyone has readied up. I wonder if Dan's here to do commentary. Let's ask him if he wants to join us in the box. I don't know why, I've got a keyboard but I'm still using the controller to type this. I'll give up. Much quicker. So we're about to get the race underway. No points for the sprint qualifying. We'll wait to see if Dan's here for commentary. If so, I'll add him to the chats. So bear with me for just a second. You should still be able to see the screen. Actually, before I do that, I'll put the race results up so you can see who will be starting this race from pole. It's Topster on pole, Tiger in second. Have I done this correct? Oh yeah, I have, never mind. Apologies. So I'll just do... There we go, my audio might have cut out for a second. But it should be good. Let's do this then. I've invited Dan just in case he wants to join. I should do starting soon just to let everyone know that we are starting the race. Everyone has entered. Let's just double check actually everyone is on the correct tyres. My keyboard's not working. Oh, there we go. Something I forgot to do. Let's see if anyone is actually cheating with the power or the weight. No, everyone's on 246. You see we've got some responsible drivers. Just letting Dan know that he's free to join. Right, let's do this. Let's get this race started. Round 7. We've only got 2 races to go after this, so let's make them all count. The final will begin in 1 singular second, and it is going to be Tobbs who's joining, starting on pole position, with Tiger alongside him on the front row. Tobbs' first pole position of the season. We should have a fairly competitive grid as Dutchy's down the order, I think, in 6th or 7th place. There he is in 8th, behind his teammate Piero, but is still in with a shot of winning the championship. Why is it done that? Why is the grid... why... What? Why is it a reverse grid?
I don't know.
I swear I said it's a fastest first. I hate this game.
Fair enough.
Hello, Dan. I forgot to introduce.
Hello.
Just want to say to all the viewers on the screen, grid order, fastest first. You can see it there. No, Dutchy. Look, it says fastest first. You can check the stream. No, it is on fastest first. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, hello Dan, how are you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
Not too bad. Myself?
Good.
There we go. Let me just change this. Oh, I hate doing it manually. It just takes so long. I was confused why Dutch was down in 6th place, and then I saw Tobster at the back, and then I was like, it's not right. Anyway, let's wait for everyone to re-enter.
Yep.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I have no idea what that grid was. What even was that? That was a reverse... Wait. No, it can't have been a reverse grid because Aston was on pole. I don't know what that grid was. I think it just blew up. Tiger's saying hold on. Okay, so we'll just wait for everyone. We'll do a confirmation ready. Just gotta wait for Ted, Finn and Aston to enter. I even had the race results up on the screen. Yeah, there they are. It should be Topster on pole and fastest first. I should have... I know what I've done wrong.
Wow.
I said it was fastest first, which is based on the lobby. I should have done fastest based on previous race results. But I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to do the custom grid manually. Apologies. It's been a while since I've done it. So we're just got to get this grid set up. I forgot where everyone was. Topster, but then it was Tiger. I remember that much. Who was next? Who finished third? Piero. I think it was Piero. Who was fourth? I'll just check the race results. To St. Aston, Dutchy Ted. To St. Aston, Dutchy Ted. To St. Aston, Dutchy Ted. Oh, this is such an awkward process. Webson's Tim, Manuel Finn. Oh, that's easy. Webson's Tim. I forgot it. Webson's Tim, Manuel Finn. Could become a tongue twister, which is what half the commentary is. Just. Oh, I'm not going to lie, I half forgot it already. I think, no, it was Webson's Tim, Manuel Finn, Wolfie, Bonnie. There we go. We should be ready now. I don't know if Tiger's back or not. He'd said to just wait a sec, so we'll give it a few minutes. Dan, are you looking forward to GT7?
Yeah, I think it's going to be different. I mean, what they've told us already about the like weather systems and how it's going to be all dynamic and the tracks we're getting. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be good. Obviously, it'll have a few bugs at the start, but you know, it's still that's how a game is at once, really. But yeah, I think it's going to be a whole different experience for us in Gran Turismo, and yeah, I just can't wait. So I will say yes to that question.
And I'm most looking forward to the new dynamic weather. I don't know about anyone else in the chat. We could have some fun with that. Make some custom races, go from wet to dry, dry to day, wet to night, dry to wet, day to night. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It should be fun. And in this game, we can only do 3 tracks in the wet: Tokyo, Spa, and Austria. Now we get most of them, I think. I don't think we get all of them just yet, but I think most of them. Oh, I'll just get these messages sorted. There we go. Let's do this. The traditional starting soon. Let's go. 3. Oh, actually, let's check the grid.
Yeah, you should check the grid.
I just want to say, all the viewers, that is the grid. Topster, Tiger, Piero, 2 St. Aston, Dutchy, Ted, Webson's Tim, Manuel Finn, Wolfie, Bonnie. That is the grid. If it's wrong, then... Hang on. Topster, Tiger, Piero, 2 St. Aston, Dutchy, Ted, Webson's Tim. Yeah, that's all right. Let's go. Good luck, everyone. Round number 7 is about to get underway here at Autopolis. Let's get into the spectator camp quickly. There we go. Aston's got a lot of damage on his practice lap. Anyway, here we go, round 7 for the race. We just had the sprint quali, where it was Topster who was able to beat the field and put it on pole position, with a Tiger Assassin joining him on the front row. Piero Toussaint lined up behind with Aston, ahead of the championship leader Play Dutchy, who can win it here tonight in 6th place from the grid. I think he has to beat Tim by 2 or 3 points if he's to take it home today. Like we said in qualifying, 18 corners, 2.9 miles long. The 5 red lights are on. And the engines build to 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Topster leads the field away from pole position. Piero, a good start in third, tucks in behind Tiger Assassin off the get-go, with Wolfie getting a good start in the background. You can see the green and purple car. Toussaint on the inside of Piero. Can he make the stick? Aston trying to go round the outside and follow Piero through. Ted losing a little bit of a few positions as he's going wheel-to-wheel with Finn and Manuel. Bon Evil just tucking in behind. They're going 3 wide with Toussaint on the inside of Play Dutchy, and Dutchy trying to hold it on the outside, can't quite make anything of it. Tim with a really good start, up into 6th place from what I think was 9th. Toussaint defending the inside from Dutchy, who's close on his rear wing. Ted dropping down to 9th, Wolfie up into 11th, Finn down into 12th with Websons out the back of the grid in 13th. Not too sure what happened to him from the start. Tiger though keeping with Topster in the early phases of this race. It's still a long way to go, 23 laps. Dutchy down the inside of Toussaint in towards the hairpin. He's late on the brakes. Toussaint leaves the door open. Dutchy gets his way up into 4th place and closer to winning the title here tonight.
Yeah, I think Websons and Finn had damage there. They must have went off at like 10, 4 or 5, so that's what happened with them. But meanwhile, Dutchy's in a couple of positions there. But Topster and Tyler, the battle for P1 still awaits. As you can see, Tyler's going to try and look for a move. He was considering it, but he's just right all over Topster there. As we make our way down into the final sector, there are going to be some moves there for the battle for P1. But yeah, meanwhile, Tim going to try and send it down the inside of Toussaint, get it done, a little bit of contact there. But that promotes Tim up into P5.
Yeah, it's an opportunistic move from Tim. He had a really good run through turn 16. You can ride on ball with him in the replay feature. Just got his nose in. Toussaint doesn't see him coming, gets the move done up in towards 5th place. It's getting 4 positions in the opening lap. He's someone to keep an eye out here tonight. He's been showing some really good pace in the practice lobbies. Let's see if he can convert it into a race win. Hasn't won a race yet this season. Definitely has the pace to do it. Currently 2nd place in the championship. I think 75 odd points behind the driver in front of him, Play Dutchy, his championship rival. Manuel getting ahead of Aston into 7th place. Ted keeping on taps with the Brit, 7-8 tenths behind him, as Topster leads the field away. Continues to keep Tiger behind. The gap only 3 tenths of a second though, at a track where it's so technical and easy to make mistakes. The driver who wins this race is going to be the one who can keep all 4 wheels on the circuit and be the most consistent.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Dutchy there just trying to stay behind his teammate, but Piero and Dutchy doing really well there. Slotting themselves nicely into P3 and P4. Dutchy just trying to work together with Piero there, trying to catch up to Tiger and Topster there. Topster keeping really good pace in P1 there, trying to get away from Tiger. But it's still all a play for. I mean, anything could happen here in Autopolis.
As Tim is all over the back of Play Dutchy. You might see a swap between Dutchy and Piero if Dutchy thinks he can go quicker. The downside with them changing their drivers now is they've got Tim right behind them, who they need to keep an eye out for in this race. He set the fastest lap of the race on lap 3 and he could be challenging Dutchy. Going in towards turn 1, he's got a good run from the final corner, but I don't think he's close enough to send one down the inside of the championship leader. Piero, though, leads this train. They're 1 second behind. Here goes Tim now. This could be his chance to go for the move. He's less than a tenth behind Play Dutchy, who's going for a move on the inside of his teammate, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Tim round the outside. Can he make the stick? Dutchy leaves in the room. Not enough room, though, to go on the inside. Dutchy's gone a bit deep. That's going to allow Tim to have a little peek at the inside, going into the first hairpin in the start of the middle sector. And it is Dutchy who maintains 4th position for now. Piero losing time to Tiger. 1.2 seconds is the gap, and it is slowly rising. 4 or 5 tenths is the advantage out in front. Tim all over the back of Play Dutchy. We could see a move in the next lap or so.
Yeah, I mean, Tim's been looking for moves ever since the first few corners of the track. Tim just trying to mess up with Dutchy, but Dutchy and Piero are doing really well there defending from Tim. But the grid's starting to separate. Bonnie went off a little bit there again. But Topster was the pace. He's trying to keep it away from Tiger. Tiger's trying to catch up. He's trying to look for moves, but I think he's trying to stick behind the slipstream there. But yeah, the gap is starting to exceed from P2 to P3 by roughly 1.6 seconds. And that was unfortunate that Bonnie left the lobby there. But a lot of work is going to have to be done to catch up to these guys.
Here goes Dutchy on the back of his teammate. Is he going to go for a move in towards turn one? Here he goes, pulls over to the inside. I don't think Piero is going to fight this one all too much. He's alongside. Is he going to be ahead by the exit? Yes, he is. What about Tim, who's going to try and capitalise to the inside? The door closed really quickly with Toussaint now going to try and capitalise on Tim's failed attempt, and he gets to move up into 5th place. And some say you can't overtake it, Autopolis, and we're proving you wrong. Dutchy now up into a podium position. Toussaint now has tried to fight his teammate for 4th place. Manuel trying to work something around the outside of Tim, currently running in 7th place. Tim in 6th. He's got the potential, I think, to finish on the podium, but he does have a lot of cars ahead of him to overtake. With the slipstream, albeit unreal, it will be quite challenging for him to get through. He has got a really good run there, actually, through turn 7, I think. Up the hill, in towards the hairpin. Toussaint goes defensive to the inside. Tim's late on the brakes, round the outside. Can he make this stick? Not quite. He's going to try a switchback manoeuvre, get a good exit. Slingshot off the corner, down on the hill, in towards the fast right-hander, but he hasn't got the best of runs he needs to get through, and will settle into 6th place.
Yeah, riding on board there with Tim. As you can see, he's trying to look for moves on Toussaint, but Piero is slowly slacking a little bit because Toussaint now, MP5, is looking for moves now. The moves are going to be very opportune. I can't even say the word. Very possible, shall we? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. We're going to say possible on these last few corners. But I think Toussaint's going to have a decent run here. Can he get a decent exit? But he's got the slip now. But Dutchy, however, I think because ever since Dutchy and Piero switched, I think Dutchy's got the pace to try and catch up to these guys. A very strategic move there, but if we look now into turn 1, Toussaint's going to try and look for a move, not quite, but I think he's going to get a good run down to this next corner.
Dutchy now ahead into 3rd place after overtaking his teammate on the previous lap. Will try and pull him along in this race, although the gap is on the edge of being within the slipstream range, 8.5 tenths. Piero just needs to find a couple of tenths to be within the effective slipstream range of his teammate, otherwise he's going to be under a lot of pressure, more pressure than he is already from Toussaint, Tim, Finn, Manuel, and Aston in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. And one small mistake from anyone could cost them a heap of positions. Someone who won't want to be making a mistake is your current race leader, Tobster, with Tiger all over the back of him. 5 tenths of a second is the gap separating number 9 and car number 37. As you can see in the background, just the train of cars making their way down the hill. Toussaint keeping ahead of Tim, will be trying to fight and get ahead of Piero to close down a gap to Dutchy.
Yeah, the train is still continuing from P4 all the way down to P8. As you can see, Aston just trying to clip onto the back of Manuel, trying to keep that pace. Really good performance there. But meanwhile, looking, as you can see, between P5 and P6, Tim is now almost 2 tenths of a second behind. Toussaint is going to send it down the inside into this corner. Can he get the move done? He does get the move done. A nice dive bomb there from Tim. Boosts himself up into P5.
And it's a spitting image and a carbon copy of the move he done on the opening few laps. Gets himself back up into 5th place and overtaking the same driver he done on to lap 2. He now has to try and overtake Dutchy's teammate, who I don't think is going to make it easy for him, considering the championship stakes. As it stands, Play Dutchy will win the championship tonight. He's 75 points clear of Tim. And if he can get a gap greater than 52 points after this race, then he will be crowned a 4-time GT Sport champion. 4 consecutive championships. Currently running in 3rd place.
Yeah, but looking now towards the battle for P2, Dutchy is right behind Tiger now. The gap is from 1.7, I remember last time, to now 2 tenths. So Dutchy is going to be considering moves here. However, Topster keeping the pace trying to keep that gap away from Tiger in this race, but Dutchy now going to try and work together with Tiger. Well, I said that they're probably going to be battling for P2 there, as Dutchy trying to keep the pace. He does have the pace into these next few corners. Tiger doing a little bit loosey-goosey on some of the exit, especially in this corner, but he does get a better entry into this corner. It does, and I think moves are going to be considered very shortly.
Toussaint and Manuel going wheel to wheel through the middle sector. Toussaint's able to defend 6th place for now, but for how much longer? He's under a lot of pressure from the Austrian after going slightly wide through turn 14 and 15. But Manuel couldn't quite get the move done as they make their way down the start-finish straight. Manuel 2 tenths behind. Toussaint's almost going to be a sitting duck without their slipstream. He's got 2.4 seconds to Dutchy. Tiger's got about 2 thousandths to Dutchy as they make contact, in towards turn 1. Dutchy on the outside, Tiger on the inside. Through turn 2, they're going to go wheel to wheel. Dutchy gets the move done up in towards 2nd place. Manuel and Toussaint now going side by side through turn 1 and 2 with Aston watching in the background. Can Toussaint hold it on the inside? Or can Manuel work something on the outside? A beautiful move from the Austrian. Gets it done up into 6th place and covers the inside for the next corner. Lovely stuff. Gets himself up into 6th place. Can he hold it? Can he close down that gap to Tim, who's all over the back of Piero, going through the long swooping left-hander? That is turn 7, I think. Tim going up the hill. Is he going to send one on the inside? Not quite, but we'll be looking for a move sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, Aston now trying to go all over the back of Toussaint here. The pace, I mean, right at the bottom, Aston, a beautiful battle was happening there between Manuel and Toussaint. But looking now, the gap is slowly starting to exceed. However, Topster is trying to keep that gap there. 1.8 seconds it went now, but Dutchy is slowly closing that gap towards the last few corners. But the closest battle so far is between Piero and Tim. Is Tim going to recreate the move he did before? Not quite. He's going to just tuck him behind. But if he does get a better exit, they're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 1. He is getting a better exit now. And I think the move's definitely going to be done into turn 1. He's going to look for it. He's very close. He's considering it. He is going to go for a move now. As these two are going to go wheel to wheel. Who's going to get the better exit here? It looks like it's going to be Tim. Tim's going to send it down the inside. And gets the move done up into P4.
Piero not fighting it too hard on the outside. Rather difficult to overtake on the outside at a lot of these corners at this track. Tim now up into 4th place. Has 1.1 seconds of a gap to Tiger in 3rd, who'll be doing his best to stop Play Dutchy winning another race. Although Dutchy does have to close down a 1.8 second gap to Topster, and we've seen him close down bigger gaps in the past. It's still early doors in this race. Lap 8 of 23. About a quarter of the way through this race. I lie, we're almost practically a third of the way through this race already. It's only 40 minutes long roughly, because we have the 20-minute sprint qualifying at the start. So you can see Tim's already closed down that gap to Tiger by quite a margin, 7 tenths. He's now a second clear of Piero. Manuel almost dropping Toussaint in 7th, and this is not good for Tiger and Toussaint in constructors. If they're to keep the fight alive going into the final 2 races of the season, they're running in 3rd and 7th, but Dutchy in 2nd and Piero in 5th will be scoring more points than the other 2.
Yeah, the points are going to have to decrease now. But look, and speaking of Dutchy, he was looking for a move all over the back of Topster. I think Topster made a little mistake. However, into the final 2 corners, is Dutchy going to try and look for a move? Not quite. He's just going to tuck in behind Topster. But the battle for P1 is going to happen right here, right now. He's just the better exit now, and these two are going to go wheel to wheel. Who's going to get the better exit? It's going to be quite close here, Natty. I'm going to make the way now into turn 1. I think Thomas is just ahead. It's all about trying to get that move around the outside. Is Thompson going to hold it? Dutchy's going to be late on the brakes. Sends it down the inside. Is a switchback going to happen from Thompson? Not quite.
But he's got a good run from the exit of turn 1 through 2. They go with Topster close behind Play Dutchy. He can't quite go for anything in towards turn 3. He's going to try his best to keep on the back of the Dutchman. He's not too far behind, only 3 tenths. Maybe he might send one here on the inside. That could be a late defence from Tiger as well behind. Tim's caught up to the battle for the podium positions as well. The top 4 separated by a couple of tenths. Here goes Tim on the inside, and he's making moves where no other driver has done tonight, and he's fighting with Tiger for 3rd place there, wheel to wheel, millimetres separating the 2 cars up the hill in towards the hairpin. Tim won the inside later on the brakes, slows it down in time, gets the move down up into 3rd place. Tiger's going to try a switch back, get a good run, but nothing he can do to defend the position. He's now down into 4th place. Topster 7 tenths behind Play Dutchie, 7 tenths ahead of his teammates. Will we see team orders? Tim showing a fantastic pace here at Autopolis. He got his first pole in his first race back in season 2. Can he equate it into a good result? Not if he makes mistakes like that though. Tiger with an opportunistic move on the inside, gets it done, back up into 3rd place. But this squabbling for 3rd place has allowed the gap to 2nd to extend up to about 7, 8, 9 tenths of a second. But a great move from Tiger, to get himself ahead of Tim. But this battle is not going to be over.
Yeah, the pace from Tim tonight has exceeded. I mean, he may have made a little bit of a mistake in the sprint race, but the recovery he's making here in the actual race is very impressive from the finish, as he's all over the back of Tiger. I think moves are going to be considered here. Now, we just have to keep an eye out as we make the way into turn 2. I think Tim's going to try and look for a move here, riding on board with Tim. As you can see, the moves are very opportunistic. I got it right that time, and yeah, I don't think he's going to look for a move. No, he is. He's going to send it down the inside of his hairpin. That he gets it done. Is it going to be clean? No, it is. Gets himself up into P3. What a move there from Tim.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I think that warrants a replay. Look at that, Tim on the inside, and well, Tim proving you can overtake at this track despite its very awkward corners. A few drivers though have come into the pits. Manuel, Finn, not sure about Wolfie and Webson's. I think Webson's started the race on the softs at the back of the grid, but is still scoring points. The top 12 scoring points with the new point system.
Yeah, I think Webson's picked quite early because he made contact with Finn. I think it was turn
possibly.
One.
Yes.
Yeah, lap 1.
As Topster now in 2nd ahead of his teammate Tim. I wonder if we will see any team orders between these guys, if Tim can close down the gap a little bit more. But what they have to be careful of, if it's orchestrated, is that they don't lose enough time for Tiger and Piero behind. Tim's actually into the pits early. I say early, it's lap 10 out of 23, and I've said it in the past, why do unnecessary laps on mediums if softs can go to the end from here? Worn softs, I think, are as quick, if not quicker than worn mediums. Tiger's off on the exit of turn 1. Thankfully, he kept it going in a straight line, but just ran a little bit wide, a little bit too deep. Tim has filtered out just behind Manuel. The ultimate undercut from the Austrian sees him up ahead of Tim. What could be 2nd place. We have to wait for Dutch and Topster to pit. But Manuel's tyres are going to be a lot more worn than the other cars around him at the end of the race.
Yeah, if they've got the pace to do it, they may as well keep going, because then they'll have to spend less time on the softs. However, I think there are potential undercuts here from Tim. So, and it's actually good that he's behind Manuel, because he'll be able to save some tyre wear and a bit of fuel if he wants to push to the end of the race on that compound without getting too much tyre wear. But the gap is starting to spread out a little bit, roughly a second between each driver in the top 4, compared to 3 seconds from the Dutch man himself. Laying really good pace into P1. But yeah, like you said, I think the undercut strategy can be very powerful on this track if you manage to get it right.
Yeah, this track being a technical track especially, so undercuts are powerful. Dutchie's into the pits from the lead of the race, negotiates the chicane cleanly. What about Topster? He's into the pits, brushes the ball on the outside. Tiger also into the pits, 2 Saint pitting as well. Softs, I think Aston's worn softs were probably as quick as mediums. You don't want to do unnecessary laps on the harder compounded tyre. Dutchy in and out of the pits. Where is Manuel and Tim? They're going down the start finish straight with more speed. Here goes Topster out of the pits. He's been jumped by Manuel. He's been jumped by Tim. Manuel now up into third place, second on track, as Aston has yet to make a pit stop. Started this race on the soft compound tyres. He'll be going another 2 or 3 laps maybe before he decides it's time to pit. But Tim is going to want to get ahead of Manuel as quickly as possible, because I think he is going to want to be the one to hunt down Play Dutchy in this race. First and second in the championship, second and fourth out on track on lap 12 out of 23.
I mean, I think there's a look at the draw here for these guys. If you think you can come out on like a decent position, and if you've got the pace, then it was really a gamble. But it was a good choice from Tim there, as mentioned before, as he now is right behind Dutchy, as the gap slowly begins to shrink. But however, honestly, it's still going to be very close. But meanwhile, Tim is going to look for a move on Manuel round the outside. Oh, I think that was a bit of a risk. Sorry. No, go ahead.
I was pretty much going to say exactly what you were commenting on. Tim trying to go for a move on Manuel has cost them a lot of time to Dutchy, though. You can see the gap now 2.4 seconds, where it was about 1.4 seconds when they came out of the pits, and that gap only increasing. Manuel kind of taking a different line to Tim. Tim trying to go wider, cutting tight to get a good run down the start finish straight. If riding aboard and looking at the delta, you can see how much he's gaining with obviously the added slipstream effect. Does he go left? Does he go right? He pulls over to the left-hand side of the track. Right-hand side of your screen. Can he make this one stick round the outside? In towards turn 1. Manuel's late on the brakes, giving him just a car's width on the outside. They're still going to go wheel-to-wheel on the exit of turn 1. In towards turn 2. Topster and Tiger going door-to-door in the background. But Manuel keeping it on the inside of Tim, who swoops round the outside. Topster on the inside. Can he maintain 5th position, or will Tiger deny him? Not yet. Tiger has to settle for 6th, with Topster maintaining 5th position. Tim now has work to do. 3.5 seconds now to Play Dutchy. He's lost a lot of time battling Manuel.
I mean, there is definitely a lot of time lost there. But if he's got the pace, he should be able to push to the end there. But what a battle there between Manuel and Tim. Tim improving his performance massively in this race. And Tiger just having a little bit of contact with Topster in that corner. Topster trying his best to defend there. Thankfully, no damage, as Tiger's just going to slip behind Topster if he wants to try and catch up. But 10 laps to go here at Autopolis. And looking at this, the battle for P1 is going to commence here. Aston going a little bit wide. Dutchy's going to try and send it down the inside. Can Aston defend this? He can't. And Dutchy gets himself up into P1.
Has helped Tim slightly, though. The gap now 2.4 seconds, where it was 3.4 seconds. So with Tim's pace plus Aston's additional help, that gap is starting to come down out in front. Can Dutchy maintain the lead of this race, though? Fastest lap from Tim, and we saw a mistake from Dutchy in the sprint race. We saw a mistake from Tim in the sprint race as well. Tim will be pushing, but with every push lap comes a risk of pushing too much and making a crucial mistake. 2.4 seconds and purple. 9 laps to go. The hunt is on for the lead of the race. Tiger not close enough to go for a move on Topster. 2% closing in on the back of his teammate as well. Piero 1.5 seconds behind Finn, with Ted in a solid 10th place. Pretty much in no man's land on those soft tyres. Webson's is into the pits. Looks like Wolfie will overtake him. As here goes Tim now trying to look for a move on Aston in towards the hairpin. The gap 0.3 of a second. Aston running a little bit wide. That's going to allow Tim to go down the inside up into 2nd place. And a mistake from Aston could be the worn soft tyres. Still on a podium position, but is yet to pit in this race and will probably drop behind Piero, who is in 9th position.
Yeah, it's still all to play for, though. But Tim is putting on a show here tonight, I have to say. Looking for moves when, it's not even possible, I'd say. But Tim now slowly closing the gap onto Dutchy. The battle for P1 is going to be very close. Two very quick drivers here in Auto Polish trying to maintain that pace, but the gap Tim is shredding is slowly going down, roughly a tenth per corner, so it's definitely going to be possible. And Tim's setting the fastest lap, so he's got the faster pace compared to Dutchy. I think the gap is roughly 2/10 between each other in terms of lap times.
Yeah, I mean, Tim's last lap was a 1:41.0, Dutchy's a 1:41.2, 2/10 quicker on the last lap. Manuel getting ahead of Aston up into third place. Topster under pressure from Tiger. He's now got to overtake Aston in this race, currently running in fourth place. Yet to stop though, is he going to go to the end? He does have to make a pit stop, but when will he choose to do it? I'm going to assume once he's held everyone up a bit. We see, well, he's done interesting strategies in the past, most notably at Tokyo Expressway last week when we were in the Alpine VGTs. Currently he definitely was racing with the likes of Toussaint and Bonnie. Topster to the inside, he's going to send it late on the brakes. What a move if he can make this stick. It was boulder committed. Tiger's going to try and follow him through. Him and Aston now going wheel to wheel as they make their way down the hill in towards the fast right-hander, nearly flat out. Warm softs, fresh softs, and it's going to be the fresh softs who come out on top, wheel to wheel. Tiger on the outside, beautiful move. Can Toussaint set himself up for a move on Aston? He's going to see he bounds a gap on the inside, makes a little bit of contact. But Toussaint following his teammate through. Aston being picked off left, right and centre.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aston decided to maybe stay out a bit too long on the softs there. But I mean, I've got to give respect to Tiger and Toussaint there. That was a beautiful team effort there to try and get past Aston. Manages to get it done successfully. Aston comes into the pits on the mediums now. But that was good teamwork there from the BCMR guys. Let's give a credit for that. I think Manuel went off a little bit, so Topster is going to try and catch up now.
We got 1.9 seconds between Manuel and Topster. Topster will be hunting for that podium position. Has got a little bit of breathing space now that Tiger's about a second behind him. The gap out in front, maintaining its margin it has been for the last 2 or 3 laps. 2.3 seconds is Dutchy's lead. It's not going down, but it is not increasing by a lot. Tim is actually improving on his personal best. Dutchy sets the new fastest lap of the race into the 1:40s. Tim on the edge of the 1:40s in the 41 flat. And it's going to be a showdown with 7-8 laps to go. Topster will be doing his best to try and defend from Tiger and Toussaint. As it stands though, Dutchy will win the championship here tonight. Constructors, not quite yet. 52.5 points between Dutchy and Piero, Toussaint and Tiger. And with the maximum points from each race being 51, there are still 102 points left after this race, so that gap won't be more than 102 points for them to win it next week. Actually, no, they can win it next week if they score.
This is the point where you do the calculations.
If they score points, I think they're going to win it there. I mean, they're 52.5 points ahead now. With you can score 51 points maximum from a team each race. That's 102 points in the final 2 races. Looks like Dutchy and Piero have got it this season. We can't say anything just yet, obviously, because it's racing. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
do the championship next week.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, when we're looking at the live timings, I was just having a little look while you were doing your maths, and it looks like the most time gained Tim can get is in sector 2. So I think if Tim can try and find a few more seconds in sector 2, he might have enough time to catch up to Dutchy there. But it's still, I don't know. I think the gap is slowly shrinking. There are some corners where Tim is getting the better exit compared to Dutchy. But I think it's the fuel for Yeah, I think it's the fuel that is boosting Dutchy a little bit because it's a little bit less than Tim, which is what they really want here. But anything can happen here now. He's 6 laps to go here in Autopolis, and Tucson and Tyler still working together to try and catch up to Topster. The gap is slowly shrinking between Topster and Tyler, so keep an eye out on them, but also there is a close gap between Piero and Finn there.
Pierre and Finn, the battle for 7th place, 9/10 separating those two. Pierre and Dutchy teammates will be extending their points in Constructors' Championship, or the Team's Championship I should say, with Tiger and Toussaint down in 5th and 6th, trying to close the gap. Topster in 4th, 1.3 seconds that gap to Topster, with Topster 2.1 seconds behind Manuel. That gap out in front is not going down at a rate that I think Tim would be wanting, but it is not increasing. These two pretty much matched on pace.
I think Tyler, I thought Tyler just went a little bit off shape there, but it's just a camera angle. But yeah, I mean, these guys, I mean, Dutchy's not getting a huge lead there from Tim. The gap is slowly shrinking as we speak. I think Dutchy got us still a bit of time coming out of that second hairpin. But honestly, I think Tim can do it. I think Tim can pull that gap down and try and get P1. But Dutchy needs to try and lose a little bit of time. I mean, if he wants to try and catch up, if Tim wants to try and catch up to Dutchy, but I don't know. It's very close between P1 and P2. I think I'm just going to keep an eye out on them two for now. Yeah, that gap's slowly shrinking. It's now gone from 2 seconds to 1.9. And it's gone back up to 2.1. So, it's, honestly, I don't know. I definitely don't know who's going to win here.
It still could be anyone's. I am just negotiating something to see if it could work. We'll have to find out. But yeah, that gap out in front is still 2.1 seconds, and yeah, like we were saying, it's not really closing at all. The closest battles, well, Piero's dropped Finn. I'm not sure if he's made the mistake, or it could just be the tyre way getting to him.
I have to interrupt you there, Tim, but not Tim, but Natty, I'm so sorry. But Dutchy did go on the crash a bit, so now Tim has definitely closed the gap. It's now to 1.1 seconds. And it's still going down, so the battle for P1 is on here, Natty.
There's a replay for all the ladies and gentlemen watching the stream. The gap is a second with non-lap 19 of 23. The race is on.
Yeah, Dutchy's
9
losing
tenths.
a bit of time.
8 tenths. The gap is closing. Has Tim got enough left in it for him to just get within the slipstream range? That would help him a lot down the start finish straight. Through the final sector they go, and he's almost there. He is pushing so much. I'm sure this is the hardest Tim has ever pushed. 6 tenths. He's within the range of slipstream. Who is your money on? Place your bets in the chat. Not actual money, we don't promote gambling. But 7 tenths is the gap between first and second in the race. First and second in the championship. But which one will win this race? Are we going to see a new helmet or the same name? Either way, Play Dutchy is on course for a 4th consecutive Drivers' Championship. 4 out of 5 seasons for one of them he didn't race in. That is a pretty impressive stat. No one has been able to beat him since. Only one other driver has won a race this season, and that was the race that Dutchy started from last.
But yeah, the gap now is 5 tenths. Tim is in the slipstream range, 4 tenths now. The gap is slowly shrinking here now. It was 3 laps to go here in Autopolis. It's going to be very interesting now as they're going into the second hairpin now. As you can see, Tim is right behind. The gap has slowly come down, has it? No, it went up by a tenth. So the gap is still like 6 tenths, but Tim needs to be on point. Every corner of this track needs to be perfect, and it needs to make sure he gains a bit of time if he wants to try and get P1 here tonight.
It needs to be quali lap after quali lap after quali lap, but still keeping enough life in the tyres to go for a move. With lap 20 out of 23 to start lap 21. 3 laps to go here in Autopolis. And we have a fight for the lead on our hands. Tim's debut race at this track got him pole position, couldn't quite convert it into a race win. Could this be redemption for the Finnish driver, or will it be the runner-up? We'll have to wait and see. Only time will tell, and with time running out, it's not long until that checkered flag will be waved. Tim running in second place, 8/10 behind Play Dutchy. The gap aided by a mistake, but everything that's happened in the past 21 laps has led us to this moment right here, right now. 2 championship contenders, one though with a much more favourable odds in the lead of this race. At the time of the stream, there is a storm going across the UK, Ireland and northwest of Europe. I'm sure some people will be hoping it's hitting the home in the Netherlands. Doesn't look like it is though. 7/10 of a second now, the gap between Tim and Dutchy.
It's slowly going down, isn't it? Like it's getting slow. I think Tim's getting the most time on sector 2, but I think it's sector 3 that's costing him a little bit of time. So if Tim can try and nail down his sector 3, he's definitely going to have a chance at winning here tonight. But it's all down to the final straight. The final straight of the final lap of the final corner. Everything has to be perfect here for Tim. As you can see,
slight wobble.
The slight wobble there. But now he's got the slipstream into turn 1. Is he going to try and go for a move? Can he gain enough time? Not quite. I think Dutchy's just pulling away there. And Tim's going to have to tuck into the back of Dutchy now towards like a lap. But like we say, he has to be perfect in every corner. He's got to gain enough time in each corner to make sure he can be right behind Dutchy there and fight for the P1. And it's all to play for now.
On the penultimate lap of this race, we're just going to cut from the action to the lead. We've got Tobster running in 4th place, still ahead of Toussaint and Tiger, who have swapped their drivers round, whether it was tactical or an overtake, not too sure. Piero couldn't quite find the time he needed to close the gap down to Tiger, but has found enough pace to pull away from Finn. Aston 25 seconds behind Finn in 9th, is on course to finish in that position, with Ted 7.5 seconds behind in 10th, with Webston's a minute and 10 seconds behind Play Dutch, in 13 seconds ahead of Wolfie, who looks to be picking up the final points on offer here tonight. It's been 3 seasons since we've been at this track, and what a race it's been. Tim with a mistake through the fast right-hander. That might have been a costly blow if he's to win this race. Only a few corners to go before we start the final lap of the race. No matter the outcome, it's been a pretty perfect drive from Play Dutchy. Only minor mistakes, hasn't really cost him too much time. For those regular viewers, I think we've reached a bit of a lull here in Autopolis. We're on the final lap of round number 7. We've had a 20-minute sprint to determine the grid, and a 23-lap race that followed. Maybe the mistakes that Tim made in the sprint was enough to cost him the win of this race. The battling with Manuel after the pit stops definitely cost him time. Had he not lost the time to Play Dutchy, could he be alongside or ahead of him by now? We'll never know. We will never know. A few drivers round in the final corner. No one has actually been lapped, I don't think. So they are going to be able to complete this race. Dutchy though, 8.5 tenths ahead of Tim. There's still time to make a mistake. The L word has been used.
The gap now is slowly shrinking into sector 2. As you can see, Tim using every bit of fuel in that car, making every move possible to gain enough time. He's
in the wall!
I said no! This is going to cost him a lot of time, and I think it's safe to say Dutchy might have secured the position here. Unless Tim can somehow pull another time out of the bag, it's going to be very tough for Tim. But I think that might have cost him P1 there.
And the mistake out of a hairpin, the sour sweet in the packet. Tim threw everything at Play Dutchy today, and it's been a solid performance from the Dutchman. What else can we say? He's led the majority of this race, and he's weaving at the start-finish line, because not only has he won the race, he's not won the race! He's crashed before the line!
God!
And Tim wins the race, but more importantly, Dutchy, finishing in second, claims a 4th consecutive Drivers' Championship. A win that came late for Tim, but a win nevertheless. Dutchy celebrating a little bit too early, but he probably doesn't care. He has won the Drivers' Championship of Season 5. What a way to do it. Manuel finishing in 3rd place, finishes in the final podium position. Topster in 4th, beating out Toussaint and Tiger in 5th and 6th. From pole position, Pierre in 7th, Finn in 8th. Aston beating out Ted in 9th, and Ted scoring some good points in 10th. Webson's in 11th, will beat Wolfie in 12th. Dutchy with the fastest lap will get an extra point at the end.
I mean,
But
I am speechless. I am speechless, Natty. Honestly, I think Dutchy celebrated a wee bit too early there. But Tim, I'd say, is the winner of Autopolis, but
he is the winner. He crossed the line first.
He is. I mean,
There's no denying it.
Yep.
If that was for the championship, what a way that would have been. I'm not sure Dutchy would have been too happy, but he probably doesn't care. He has won a championship. Meanwhile, though, we can't take anything away from him. It's been a superb drive, and once again we see a new helmet and a new livery on the top step of the podium. Congrats to him for winning the Autopolis Grand Prix, round number 7 of 9.
Yeah. Congratulations. It was a really strong performance for all drivers, but the top 3, honestly, I'm astounded, and it's been really nice here to commentate in Autopolis. A very interesting race, shall we say? But yeah, I'm just going to leave it over to you, Natty. What a race!
So anyone who says you can't overtake at Autopolis, we have proved you wrong. Tim wins here in Autopolis, slightly gifted per se by Dutchy, dropping it at the end with missing the line in celebration, finishing in second, with Manuel with an outstanding third. I didn't commentate, didn't talk about it on stream, but he pulled out. I saw him pit early on lap 10, I think it was. What a strategy it worked out for him. Beating out Topster in 4th, Toussaint in 5th, Tiger in 6th, Pierre in 7th, Finn in 8th, Aston in 9th, Ted in 10th, Webson's in 11th, and Wolfie in 12th. Dutch with the fastest lap will pick up an extra point to his name in the championship and constructors. But that Drivers' Championship is all done and dusted. It's now up to Dutchy and Piero to win home the team's championship next week when we're in Group 2 at Circuit de Saint-Croix at the A configuration. For the first time, we are going to that track. We've been to B, we are yet to go to A. So stay tuned at the same time, same place for that race next week. Thank you, Dan, for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.